Well, I wish I was in a better situation right now because that debate last night probably does deserve having someone go through each piece of it and explain the various problems that were there. But to put it in a nutshell, Biden had an awful night. Trump really did not. Um, Basically, I think if it moves the needle for anyone, it makes people less likely to support Biden. Now, some of Biden's biggest supporters, like Obama, right? They'll come out and go, look at his record, look at his record. But the reality is, in a visual medium, in a medium of television, because let's understand something: most people do not watch most of Biden's public appearances. They don't see him day to day. They're not just checking to, whatever he's doing on this particular instance of appearing. So when he's on the debate stage, this is one of the few times where either a majority of Americans or millions of Americans are seeing anything having to do with him, arguably since his inaugural address. And I don't know if he has some sabotage person in his campaign or if he's just good at looking okay until a few days before an event, but he completely looked frail. Um, and of course, the biggest issue was his voice. It sounded terrible. Um, he sounded like he was out of breath. And that's something that I think is going to keep, like we talked before about how Biden has a lot of people who are concerned about his age. Stuff like that is why. It's not even policy related. I mean, we can talk about the Israeli Gaza situation, we can talk about inflation, we can talk all these different things. But you're not going to see people want to support someone that sounded the way he did yesterday. I hope in subsequent appearances they can give him something. I said for the problem with a lot of these advisors is that they're not cognizant of the fact that these are older people. So if Biden has to give some public appearance that's going to be seen by millions in a few days, maybe give him a day or two to rest, kind of make sure everything is working good in here, just to actually be prepped for whatever big, huge appearance he's going to make. And he really, I don't think, was able to effectively counter Trump's lies or any of the stuff that was being said. Trump tries to paint him as this big, illegal, immigrant loving president, and when in reality, Biden has been keeping up a lot of the problems that people had with Trump's era ICE. I mean, um, it's it just wasn't strong on his part. And I guess the biggest standout is when Biden tried to mention that Trump is he had an affair with with Stormy, and while his wife was pregnant, and he's been convicted. It's like, yeah, okay, that's bad, that's not good, but again, you have to understand most of the people that have already voted for Trump in that Republican primary, and a good chunk of independents even, if they're dissuaded by Trump, it's not going to be his personal life. They're going to be upset over, I mean, any position that he has that is not popular with people. The overturning of Roe v. Wade, for example, the attempts to cut Medicare and Medicaid when he was in office, and that was something that I wish Biden would have stated. Because Trump was able to, say, "Oh yeah, Biden, if he stays in there, he's going to try to destroy Medicaid and Medicare and Social Security." Because Trump instinctively knows those are popular programs, and when you make it sound like the Democrat wants to get rid of those things that were created by Democratic presidents, we need to get rid of him. He knows not to go after those publicly. Now, of course, when he was the president, he tried to cut them, but he, Biden wasn't able to effectively counter that. He took things that really shouldn't. I wouldn't even bother using the Stormy stuff, the affair stuff. The criminal charge thing is, again, something that people are readily aware of. You don't need you can remind them if you want to, but it's not. It just doesn't move the needle in my view. I think this debate really did hurt him, and I was one of the people who thought those that were saying, "Oh, the Democrats are going to replace Biden. I hope you're ready for Gretchen Whitmer or Gavin Newsom or Kamala Harris." I was one of the people who was like, they're not going to do that. They're not going to get rid of a sitting president who's won the primary for the sake of propping up some individual who's not won anything. That's almost medieval in terms of, I mean, we can go back to obviously the Humphrey and the '68 primary, but like, I was saying that's almost unprecedented in terms of like the last 30, 40 years of either major party. But at this point, I am starting to think it might not be out of the realm of possibility that during the convention, which is coming up, we're approaching it very fast, the Democrats may try to say, "Hey, look, Biden, step aside. You're sick. You're frail, etc., etc." I don't think they're going to let Harris take over. They're going to go and I'm not even trying to be funny. This is the first time I have bought into the idea that they might actually do that, because his performance was just terrible, and a lot of his sycophants are gonna say, "Oh, but the record, but the record." You had, I mean, I looked at Obama's stupid tweet, right? Where is it? I had it right in front of me. Bad debate nights happen, trust me, I know, but this election is still a choice between someone who has fought for ordinary folks his entire life and someone who only cares about himself. Between someone who tells the truth, who knows right from wrong and will give it to the American people straight, and someone who lies through his teeth for his own benefit. Last night didn't change that, and it's why so much is at stake in November. It's like, way to miss the point of a debate performance. Again, the point of performances is that they have to look good as well as be substantive. If you don't look good, all the things you're saying can get overridden by your appearance. And Biden did not look good, and his defenders are not going to mask that fact. So, like I said, I'm no Trump defender. This is a progressive channel, but I just will say it. I think Biden really hurt himself in terms of just his performance last night.